to deal with Nancy Pelosi and this fixation with masks. I mean, you actually sent a letter to the Speaker last week. You called for an end of this House mandate, mask mandate, but also an end for proxy voting, virtual committee hearings, also restricting the public's access to the Capitol complex, and so many other things. Are they all just tied in together? Is this more of a power play than anything else?
100% a power play. She is exerting her pressure, and she knows that, I mean, literally, freedom-loving Americans aren't buying all this garbage. If you're vaccinated, then you shouldn't have to worry about other people who are not. It just doesn't make any sense. And they keep saying follow the science, and like in education, they don't follow the science. Right. They follow the teachers' union, and we're following Pelosi's rules. And the proxy voting's a joke. It is a complete joke. I suspect someone could question the constitutionality of it. My 13-year-old daughter.
Let me jump in for a minute. Let me jump in for a moment, Congressman, because on the screen we have an event at the White House. It's live. A couple things. No one's wearing a mask, including Nancy Pelosi. They're having a heck of a time, I can tell you right now. I know it's National Corn Dog Day. Maybe they've got something going on there and just having a big party. But what about the hypocrisy? I mean, you're on the screen at the same time as your colleagues, and it's just yucking it up over there. It's just mind-boggling, isn't it?
It is. It's a power play on her part, and she knows it's a distraction. But it shows her quality of leadership and what is important to her. She is not about uniting this country. She's about dividing. Right. It sets a bad example. We're telling people across the country the masks are coming off. In Tennessee, the masks are off pretty much all over, except in some liberal pockets. But she's out of control as usual. You know,
there's a similar power play, the theatrics, defense, the National Guard, a bill just passing barely in the House, $1.9 billion, this capital funding, like a couple $100 million that are going to go to a permanent standing force in D.C. Is this overkill? Is this really needed right now?
Complete overkill. We're giving the mayor of Washington, D.C. her own army, basically, literally. And that's what it's going to be. It is out of control. I wouldn't trust, well, I won't say it, but the Washington, D.C. has a history of corruption from Marion Barry on up. It's out of control. And we have just allocated over $1 billion to something that's unneeded, giving them their own military. It's an advanced, almost an advanced strike force is what they're calling it. It's crazy. It doesn't need to happen. We need to start focusing on other things. And the irony of the whole thing is, they're saying let's defund the police throughout the country, and yet they're spending $1.9 billion in Washington, D.C. So that irony is not escaping. It's not escaping most law-abiding citizens.
No, I mean, I think it's a heck of a point. Yesterday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he rebuffed a demand, really, from President Biden, to de-escalate. And some are saying that the request really was sort of a maybe not so veiled threat that if Israel does not de-escalate, they can look for less support from the United States. I mean, they're a major ally of ours. Is that the right message to send?
Heck no. If Israel stands down, it'd mean their destruction. Hamas is a terrorist organization. He's taken his advice from Rashida Tlaib and the rest of the squad. They had a little shouting match yesterday on the tarmac and about 5 or 6 minutes. You ought to research a little of that. That's where he's taken his message from. Can you imagine taking your message from an angry person who is racist and anti-Semitic? And that's the symbol of what they're wrapping themselves around in this country. And it's a disgrace. Biden hadn't heard the gun go off. I don't think he's well. We need to start. He needs to stand down on this issue. We need to support the people of Israel, and we need to quit sending the wrong message and supporting terrorists, because that's exactly what we're doing. If Israel stands down, it'll be their destruction. If the terrorists stand down, the fighting stops.
Congressman Tim Burchett, thank you.